Happy Friday. Happy second video of the new year. Happy halfway through January. This is Zuri, and you have once again found Talk Yarny to me. We will be talking Yarny for a few minutes. So number one, thank you everyone that went over to the Etsy shop and favorited my mystery boxes, and to the couple of people that bought them already. Thank you very much, Vivian. I hope you don't mind me saying your name. You commented on my other post, so I'm guessing you don't mind, but you know, she was my first buyer, and she was really happy with the yarn. I was glad I got to her really quickly and that she liked it. So thank you so much for taking a chance and risking being outed by your husband to help little old me. And everyone else, I'll put another link to anyone else that's interested in looking or that hasn't seen them yet or didn't see my last video, to recap. My stash is out of control and it was time to get serious about what I'm actually going to use. So I made up 6 mystery boxes. I think I'm going to do some more. There's other stuff I'm not going to use, but I don't think I'll do them yet. But I have to come to a point of crisis again, which will probably happen in a few months. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I was just digging actually in my stash, so I'm all disheveled and a little bit sweaty. And I'll tell you about that in a minute. So thank you everyone for that. Let's see what else we're gonna do. I told you guys last time also that I was gonna like gather up my ball bands and just see what I've used. I didn't collect them the whole year, so usually I just toss them out, or I just throw them down next to me somewhere, my nightstand or whatever, and they just kind of build up, and eventually I'll get rid of them. I used to save. I have probably all the old ball bands for like my first couple years because I had a little box I would put them in because I thought I needed that information. Never looked at them again. But I have those upstairs. Maybe I'll empty that out and then use it for this year or something. But right around maybe the second half of the year, sometime in the summer, I made like this big old basket, and then it just was sitting next to me. And so as I was going, I just would like throw the ball band in there. Like, I think as I was making it, I was throwing the ball bands in there, and then I just kept going. So like everything for the second half of the year, I saved up. Probably maybe a little bit before that. And then if I found a wayward one somewhere, I would bring it downstairs and throw it in there. So I said I would like collect up and just see what I've done and try to extrapolate that into like my productivity for this year. Like, so I did. I grabbed them all, I collected them all up, and kind of some other ones I found. It's a lot more than I thought for one. Here, let me show you this pile. It's kind of ridiculous. So I'm sitting on the edge of my chair because I have them behind me. So this is my stack of ball bands collected since, I don't know, probably July or August. It was after vacation, I know that. So after June, this is the stack. So, I flung one across the room. So I counted them up. This is 69 or 70 ball bands, which is quite a bit. I did not think I used that many this year. I do not feel like I'm a very prolific knitter, crocheter, crafter. Like, I don't feel like I produce a whole lot or go through a ton of yarn. And maybe it's because it comes in at a much faster rate than it goes out, which is everyone's problem, all of our problems. But I was shocked that I used this many. So if that's for the second half of the year, I'm not gonna say it's an even split. Let's say 70 since August or since July. Let's just be conservative and say the first half of the year, 40. I don't feel like that's right. There's no way. Okay, let's say I did 40. That's what, 110 skeins, balls, hanks, etc. of yarn, which is really a lot, but I don't think that's accurate. I feel like it'd be less. I feel like it's a lot less, but it's still a lot more than I thought I did. Like, if that's just the second half of the year and I got 70, then, you know, it's a lot more than I thought I did. So I feel pretty good about myself. I don't know if I want to set a goal for this year. I feel like this year I want more yarn to go out than comes in. And maybe I'll set a goal like use 10 skeins, I can buy 5 or something like that. I don't know. I'll think about it. But I'm gonna set some kind of restriction for myself. If not, then I'll go crazy. But if I do it too strict and then I'm like, no yarn this year, then I'm gonna have major FOMO, and then I'll just fall off the wagon at some point. And actually, I'll tell you in a minute. So yeah, so we're gonna set some kind of goal, and maybe I'll tell you about it later next time. Once I decide what it is and like how I'm gonna keep track. But I feel like I want to have less come in than goes out. So that's cool. So that was cool to see what I did this year though, because I'm very bad. I used to always take pictures of everything I made in my early days a few years ago. And I had a folder, and I have a folder like in my camera roll or in my Google Photos or whatever, just for like back then it was just knitting, like just for knitting. But I'm not as diligent about that as I used to be. So there's no way to document like by project unless I just watch all my videos back, which no. So yeah, we're gonna figure something out. So that's that. Anything else? Oh, let me recap what I have been doing, because then we're going to talk about what I plan to do. So last time we talked, I told you that I would bring out the knitted blanket that I'm working on for well, he's 9 now. My youngest stepson, who's our 8-year-old, asked me a year ago to make him a blanket because I made his grandparents each a blanket for Christmas last year, and whenever he's at their house, he steals it from them. They keep it on their couches. I stole it last time. It was warm. I was like, man, this is a great blanket. And so last time we were over there for Christmas, and the dad's blanket was on the couch behind me, and I was like, so yeah. And I was like, this is great. Whoever made this did a great job, and it was me. So I said, okay, I'll make him one, and he chose the colors. Actually, I was working on something else in these colors, and I was like, hey, what color do you want your blanket? And he was like, oh, that's fine. So I was like, are you sure? Because I really wanted him to make I wanted to make him like a dinosaur themed one, and like greens and stuff. And he was like, are you sure you don't want a green one, like a dinosaur? And he's like, actually, the dinosaurs weren't green. And I was like, well, touche. So he chose this navy blue and like gray, which is what I just happened to have in my hand at the time. The gray is, oh, you're stuck. The gray is Craft Smart. Now, no longer Craft Smart. Not Crafter's Secret. Soft Secret? No. Soft something. Right? Michael's yarn. The gray is Michael's yarn. And it's in the color gray. And it's nice, thick. We like it. I like it. Many podcasters rave about it, and for good reason. It's like sturdy and thick. Like it's got some substance. You don't feel like you're working with thread. And then the navy blue is Red Heart Super Saver in the color soft navy. So this is they don't have the exact same. They're actually pretty far apart. This is a thinner, even for a Super Saver, I feel like this is thin. But maybe it's just like next to this, it just feels thin, because this is it's a thicker medium 4 kind of. But yeah, so they're not exactly the same, but they work well together. They play fine together. And then here is the blanket. And you can't see me, or I can't see you, but this is a technique, and I hope it's showing up in the camera, but this is a technique called illusion knitting, where you alternate like knits and purls in a way that you alternate like stockinette stitch, which is regular flat knit stitching, with garter stitches. That's when you knit every row and it comes out with is like kind of these ridges. Okay, so that's for So you alternate those in a certain way to make a pattern. So this is just a simple checkerboard pattern. You can kind of see it. I can see it. Hopefully you guys see it better, even better. And I made this thing so wide. I cast on way too many stitches. It's super wide. So now I'm stuck making a giant blanket, which is fine. My stepson is tiny. He is a little guy. Even for a 9-year-old, he's like just so tiny. So this is gonna swallow him up, but he'll be able to keep it forever. Apparently his oldest brother was also really small when he was that age, and he's like super tall now, so I'm guessing he's gonna hit a growth spurt, but he'll be able to keep this forever. This is the spot where I was at the last time I showed you guys. I haven't done a lot with this because it takes so long to get across the rows that it's just like it's the last thing I pick up. And I told you guys before, I have been really neglecting my knitting in the last several months because I don't get the instant gratification from it. But we're back, and I did a lot of this, like probably in the last few weeks, probably like maybe probably like this much, like these, like, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a lot of rows. So I did quite a few rows. And I'm at the point where I'm gonna switch again, alternate again the knits and the purls to make the next row of the checkerboard. I have, at this point, it's 7 blocks across, and right now I'm at 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks up. I think 2 more blocks should do it where it's going to be a good ratio, hopefully. So 6 blocks, so 7 blocks across, 6 blocks up. It's still going to be a huge blanket, so it's still going to be quite an undertaking, but I'm going to try to power through and get this done in a timely manner within the next couple of months at least. I think if I only worked on that, which is not going to happen, I could finish it in a few weeks, but it's just not going to happen. Right now, this is the one I keep next to my bed. So when I go to bed late, which is a lot, this is sometimes like the last thing I work on at night. But it takes so long to get across one row and then back. Like sometimes I can only do a couple rows a night. Okay, so there's that. That's the one thing that you've seen already, ongoing whip. And then the other ongoing whip is the other thing I showed you. I showed you this last time. This is a knit shawl. See, I told you guys I was going to give my needle some love, and I'm doing it. It's a knit shawl, using the exact same colorway of the Hirschner's, what are they called? Mill ends that I used for my aunt's shawl that I made for Christmas. This one's going to be for my mom's birthday. I don't think she can hear me. She's way upstairs. I don't know that I'm going to finish it, though. So I have probably 3.5 weeks until her birthday. But it's just it's so slow going. I mean, I feel like it's going faster like this last couple days. But it's just generally knitting is slow. But I also, my, excuse me. I found out I'll be going on a work trip that same week, and so I leave on that Tuesday. I don't know when I'm supposed to come back, or I mean, like, not that Tuesday. I leave 2 days before. I think it actually is a Tuesday, but I leave 2 days before, and I don't know when I'm coming back, when I'm supposed to come back, and when I'm supposed to stay there, but I know I'll be gone at least part of that week, so that might buy me a couple extra days, plus it's not that long a flight. I'll be going to Cleveland, but, you know, airport time and that, it's a great time for crafting. And then just when I'm done with work, it's Cleveland in February. I'm not going nowhere, back to the hotel. So I'll have all evening. And so maybe I'll be able to knock it out there and bring it home. But it's good. I like the way, just the same, I like the way the colors are working out. And with knit, I feel like the gradient kind of is smoother. You know, we'll see when it changes colors again. We're almost, does it ever go to solid gray? I can't remember if it ever goes to solid gray. I don't think it does, but like to like more gray than white or whatever. It's hard to see, but this is actually getting like more gray, and then we'll keep going. So there's that. I like it though. This is one I work on a lot. during the day because it's mainly mindless. So when I'm at work and I'm just I'm sitting in a meeting, or I'm waiting for something to happen, or waiting for someone to get back to me, that's usually what I work on. Okay, so that's that. So that is what I've done, accomplished for the year, how I've started the year. Now let's talk about, oh, I'll show you this too. I got a couple of hats to show you. So remember how I made a chocolate bonbon beanie and I kept it for Bod Hatapalooza? Well, I figured I should make another one. So I wish I had the other one to show you. The first one I made, I think is like, it's gotta be like a light color. I think the light blue or like the light brown at the top, and then it goes into this chocolate brown. And so this one I finished up with the chocolate brown, and it goes into this, whatever this is, this light brown or whatever. Anyway, I made another one. And then I finished up the Ogo with just these two basic beanies. So that is 1, 2. I showed you all these ones already, but I haven't washed them. I gotta throw them in the washing machine. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 little hats ready to go back into my donation box as soon as I get them washed. So that's a good start for the year. We're only halfway through January. Some of them half of them I did at the end of December, but we'll count them. Okay, let's talk about, what I want to do. So the first thing, my new things for this year is I already casted on one. I remember, I think I've mentioned a few times that I have some friends that moved in to my side of town, not far from me, and I wanted to make them a blanket as a housewarming gift. Well, that ship has sailed. They moved in like August. So I was like, okay, it'll be a Christmas gift. Ship has sailed too. But I did actually tell my friend that I'm making them something. So just to keep me honest. So I do have to make them something, and I want to make them a blanket. I was originally going to do a corner to corner blanket using Hygge, Red Heart, Hygge. But I decided not to. I don't think I would have fun doing that, because I don't think I would enjoy trying to like knit into the chain spaces with that fuzzy yarn. I don't think I'd have fun. Maybe I would. I actually have never tried it. I've never used that yarn, but I had a whole bunch of it that I bought at Ollie's a couple years ago that I just never used. But I decided I didn't want to use that. I actually put those in my mystery boxes. So surprise, if you want to buy a mystery box, you probably, I think every box has a little bit of that Hygge in it. So I had like 17 of them. I decided not to use that. But what I did decide to use was another long-term stash item, which is Karen skinny cakes. So what, 2 years ago when the skinny cakes were clearanced out, I went crazy on them. I ran out as soon as I saw that they were on sale for $5. I ran out to my Michaels, one of my Michaels, and I grabbed like a bunch of them, and I was just getting what I liked. The one that they had one color that like, well, okay, first I bought a few, or I found a few, and then I found this like one that didn't have a label, but it was my favorite one, and it was like this melony color, and they didn't have a label, and there was no more of them. So I bought that one along with the other ones I got, and then I think that same day I went to the other Michaels, because I was like, I gotta find this one, and I was hoping they had it. They didn't have it, but they had other stuff, so I bought those there. Like I bought a bunch of skinny cakes, and I found this one latte cake. It's the only latte cake I've ever owned. I still have it. This is Lone Latte Cake. I bought that, and then like over the next few weeks, like while they were all clearanced out, I went to like several different Michaels, like a few different ones at least, looking for this one color of this of the skinny cake, and I could never find it. I didn't know what color it was, but while I'm there, I'm like finding all the other ones, so I was like buying other ones, like, and there's and then finally I found it. I don't remember the name of it, but I'll pull it out at some point and make something beautiful. But finally I found one other like lone color of it. It's called something melon. I know that. It's got like this like kind of creamy orangish cantaloupe color, and I think some pinks and maybe some greens, like very looks like melons. It's beautiful. right? But as I'm collecting all of these, looking for this one color, this is in all the stores. Like, I guess this maybe was the least popular color. I don't know, maybe because it's monochromatic, but they always had tons of this. So I was buying this up, and no plan what to do with it, let's be honest. But whoever has plans when you're collecting yarn. So as I'm thinking about what I want to do for this blanket for my friends, I was like, you know what, I'm going to crack open those skinny cakes, because I bought all those skinny cakes and I've not used one of them. I have a giant bin that's like 90% skinny cakes and a few other cakes. I have this color, I have the melon color, I have like the purplish one, which is called plum something. I don't know, I don't remember the names. This one, I have a rainbow one, I think. I have a bunch. And but I never used them. So I was like, okay, we're gonna use those skinny cakes. And so I grabbed up this because I had the most of this, and I think this is gonna go, you know, it's not too bright. It'll go, I don't know what their decor is, I haven't been in their house yet, but I feel like, you know, this will probably go with it. So what I did was, because I want to learn a new skill, I said I'm definitely going to do, I don't want to do a corner to corner. First I was like, maybe I'll do a corner to corner, but I'm already doing a corner to corner for my scrappy blanket, which is behind it. That's it right there. Can I point? Can I point? I can't. I hate pointing in a camera because I'm almost, it's there. It's there. There. So yeah, that's it back there. I have added a couple of colors to it, but nothing that interesting. It's getting bigger though. I was like, all right, I'm really working on the corner to corner. Then I thought it maybe like I'd do the corner to corner, but in rectangles size, so that I'm like increasing until I get to a certain length and then building up so that it's a rectangle and not just a square. But I feel like it's still the same thing. I can do that for anything. So I was like, you know what I wanted to learn and what I really like the look of is fillet crochet. So I went and looked at some fillet crochet patterns. Actually, no, where I went on Ravelry and was like, let me see what other people have done using skinny cakes as blankets. I found a few, but there were a lot of mandalas, like a lot of like kind of round blankets that like you round it and you square it off. I didn't really want to do that. So finally, I think I saw one that was a fillet, and then like I clicked it, and then I don't remember the link. I don't remember. I think the link was dead or something. Finally, I just went on Pinterest and I was like fillet crochet blanket patterns and kind of dug around, and I finally found one, which is interesting because it's one I saw another YouTuber doing a few weeks ago, and I was like, I really like that, but I didn't want to do it right then. But when I saw it again, I was like, I really like that. And so it's called the Which Way Fillet blanket. And I clicked on it. It's a fiber spider pattern. I've seen it in a lot of other places since I've found this, because you know how the YouTube algorithm is. It's gonna, like, as soon as you find what you're looking for, it's gonna keep sending you what you were looking for. And so, like, I already found it, but now it's sending me tons of tutorials for pretty much the same pattern. They have a few different names, like Any Which Way blanket, and they're all like similar names to that, because you have the fillets going in different directions. It's called the Which Way Fillet, and so I clicked on it, but then I saw in the sidebar, because it's like a square blanket that you do from the center out, but then I saw on the sidebar there was another fiber spider tutorial for the rectangle version of it. I was like, that's what I want. So that's what I clicked on, that's what I started, and this is what I have. Isn't this beautiful? I'm so mad at myself for not using this yarn yet, because it's so pretty. Like, I love the way the what is this called, ombre, I guess, is I think the ombre, it's so smooth. Like, I thought it would be, you look at it in the cake and I would think it'd be like a very choppy color transition, but it's really smooth. Like, as it comes out from the white to the light gray, back to, like, or I guess from the dark gray as it goes lighter, I can't really find the delineation point. And then once it gets all the way white, it jumps back to dark gray, so that you do see the thing, but it's just gonna, like, it ombres out really nicely. So it's very pretty. It's a very easy 2-row repeat. I will put a link in the description box, hopefully I remember, to this pattern, but there's a ton. of different ones. I think it's a vintage pattern. I found, like, ever since I started this, like, I keep, every day I get a different suggestion for another, like, tutorial for this. So Skinny Cake is a win. I'm so glad I stocked up on these. Like, I got a bunch. But did you guys see that they're back? And the colors are so nice. Like, I actually was at Michael's the other day and I saw them, and the colors are so pretty. They're more, I want to say, like, earthy than they were in the last round, which had like a lot of like brighter, bolder colors. These have definitely more like natural looking colors. They're so pretty. I feel like I was touching them, I feel like they feel softer. Like, they might have made them softer. Maybe they spun them like a little looser or something, but they felt so soft. And but I mean, they're like $13. I'm not buying them until they clearance them out again in a few months, and then I probably will go crazy on them. So that is everything I've started. What am I planning to do after that? Maybe not even after. Maybe what am I planning to do tonight? Who knows? Okay, so first things first. We're gonna go from oldest planned whip to newest planned whip. So probably 2 or 3 years ago, I was like ready to knit myself a sweater. This had to be actually had to be more than that. I think it was before I got married. I think it was before I met my husband. So maybe even 4 years ago. I was like, I'm gonna knit myself a sweater. And I was looking around for tutorials, and I found a Marley Bird knit along called My First Knit Sweater. It's like her spring knit along from 2019. So I found it a year later. And I was like, all right, I can do this. And so I knew exactly what yarn I wanted to use. I think I had that yarn already. I can't remember. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I only had the one ball of it. But I knew pretty much, I had a good idea what yarn I wanted to use. I knew I wanted to do it. And I never did it. So what I wanted to use was Red Heart Dreamy. Do you guys remember that? Years ago, I found this lone ball of Red Heart Dreamy at Joann. And this is like when I first started getting into yarn and like getting, being interested in buying yarn. And I found it, and I was like, this is so pretty and soft. And they only had this one ball, and it was on clearance. This is before I knew that clearance meant it was going away. So I was like, do you have any more of this? And the lady was like, no, that's what we got. And so I bought it. And I always kept a lookout for more, and then I could never find more. And then probably a year after that, who knows, I was at Joann again, and they had this little cardboard end cap that was like stuffed with Red Heart Dreamy. And I bought, like, it was not the clearance price, it was more than that, but they were still on sale, and I bought all of them. And it didn't have, sadly, the first ball I got was like this gray, like a kind of light gray color. And they didn't have that, but I'll show you what they had. Well, they had this, which is blowing out a little, but it's called rose. It's like a Victorian rose color. Let me see. That might be a little better. I don't know. But if you don't know Red Heart Dreamy, it's like a 4-way that's like a little bit, I guess it's brushed. So it's got a little bit of a halo. It's discontinued. I remember it was in like a lot of mystery boxes for Mary Maxim like a year or so ago. So it's like gone. But I really like it. If you know Lion Brand Jiffy or Loops and Threads Soft Classic, or Loops and Threads, I think it's not Loops and Threads, Big Twist Classic, it's very similar to those. It's got a little bit of halo. It's soft. This is a big ball. This is like 466 yards or something like that. Yeah. 100% acrylic, of course. And it takes a 5mm needle. I'm not even gonna go through it. So I bought all of them, and I put them in my stash a couple years ago. And oh my gosh, it's so soft. And I was like, I'm gonna make my sweater I'm gonna make my sweater out of this. And I still never did it, and just so many things like, just kept getting put on the list ahead of them. And so I was like, this year, and then I made my husband a sweater. I was like, how am I making him a sweater? I ain't made myself a sweater yet. That's crazy. So I was like, this year we're gonna make the sweater. So that's like probably my It's not my longest, like, to-do list whip, or not even whip, like, thing on my to-do list. The oldest thing on my to-do list is I wanted to knit myself a dress. And I know now, I'm pretty sure that the yarn, I have yarn that I was going to plan to make myself a dress out of. I know now that that yarn is not the right yarn. It's like it's a 5 weight. Like, but it's like it's a, what's the word? It's a thinner 5 weight. I would say it acts more like a 4. And I did a swatch and it worked out well, but I still think it's probably not the dress for it and not the yarn for it. Maybe it is. Maybe I'll go back to it. I remember doing the swatch for the drops pattern that I found, and then I tried to like understand. I couldn't understand the pattern. Maybe I'll have to look at it again. Maybe I can understand it now, but the one I did, I couldn't understand it. I think this is like in my early days. I had never made anything wearable before, and I was like afraid of seaming. So I tried to find a pattern that was like in the round one piece, was probably why it's so complicated. Like if I found one that's just probably panels that I would knit and sew together, I bet I can find one I can use. So maybe we'll revisit that maybe later on in the year once I get these out of the way. So anyway, I will be casting on finally for this sweater. That's a knit pattern. That's knit. This is from before I learned how to crochet. So I have 3 of these. I also had this like more like a lighter rose color, like almost like this. And or like a kind of like a sea salt, like that pink sea salt, you know, color. And so I was choosing between those. I decided to go with this one. But I will probably maybe I'll crochet a sweater for myself with the other color. It was an adventure getting this. This is why I was so sweaty when I started, because this was like so far down in my stash. But I got them out. So that's long-term to-do list project number 1 that I'm getting to do. Long-term to-do list project number 2 that I'm going to do this year is I'm going to make my dogs some dog beds. And I'm excited about this because this will clear up so much space in my stash. So I think I mentioned this in another video long ago, is that there is a yarn inspiration pattern. I saw it in one of my knit groups. Someone posted this dog bed that they made from a yarn inspiration pattern using this here. This is Bernat Blanket Ogo. And I was like, ooh, I want to make my dogs some beds, because they tear up almost every bed that they have. They have torn up many beds, and I think they finally got rid of it. The bed that they have now, they've had for a while. But they also, especially since I took up the carpeting in my house like 4 years ago almost. And so upstairs we have carpet, downstairs we don't. And they're so bougie, they hate laying on the floor. They only do it when they have to. And so even when we go upstairs, sometimes if there's like any piece of fabric on the carpet upstairs, like especially my one dog, he will curl up in it. Like he's not laying directly on the flooring. He hates it. So I was like, I'm gonna make them dog beds. That's fun. And I ran, actually that day, I was working, and then I was on my lunch break. I ran out to Michael's because I knew that this exact Ogo was on clearance. I'd seen it there for like nothing. It says, no, this is one, no, so this one I bought at Joann's, but the one I got at Michael's was $2, right? And you need, I think you needed 9 to make this, but I have 2 dogs, so I was gonna make 2, so I needed 18, and I got, they only had like 16. I don't remember what the actual numbers were. I think I needed 18, they had 16, so I got them all, $2, $30, right? Or whatever, $32. For something that's usually, I mean, it was what, I can't remember what they were like $10 a piece, right? Or more, probably more when they came out. And so I grabbed all of them, and I never made, this is like 2 years ago, I never made a dog bed. I just put them in a tote, and they just been there. I have never started this project, and I want to do this for my dogs. Like I think about it all the time. So Joann's, like I said, was this one I got recently from Joann's, because Joann's clearanced out all their Ogos a few months ago. The old style, well, probably all of them. And so this is not $2. This one was $4.47, which is like, I was like, I can't believe I got to pay so much for this, because I've got all the other ones for $2. But that's what I did. So when they didn't have all the ones that I needed, I got all of the ones in this color, and then they had a couple more in this other color. which was like not the same color, but I don't remember. But they had like 2 or 3 more. So I was like, okay, I'll just get those. It just won't match. They're dogs. They don't care. They're colorblind anyway, right? So that's always, it's just been there waiting for me to start. Hadn't started. And then when they clearance out these at Joann's, I was like, okay, well, as much as I don't want to pay over twice what I paid for the other ones, it's still a good deal. And then they'll at least match. And so I bought them. And so now I have all of the Ogos in the same color that I need. I've had it for months. I still never started this project. So we're gonna do it when we're gonna start it. I might even start it tonight. And this is another knit project. So this is before I started crocheting. So this is another knit project. We're gonna knit some dog beds for my dogs. And so that's good. That's number 2. And then the third one is not that long term a whip, but it's one I want to do just because it'll clear some space up. And that is, it's a cocoon cardigan that Bag O' Day put out a few months ago, but it's using yarn that I have. And I love it when I find something that uses yarn that I have, because then I'm like, I have a reason to use it, even though, you know? And so this is using actually yet another Ogo, which is this one. The, what is it? What do you call it? Colorama Halo. This is one that I liked it, but I didn't want to pay for it when it came out. I thought it was cool, you know, but like I was like, I don't really have nothing to do with it. Like it's fine, but it's pretty and I like touching it. I'll go to the store and touch it, but I was like, I don't want to buy it. And then when they clearance it out, I was like, all right, I'll grab some. So I finally bought some when they clearance it out, even though I still didn't really have anything I wanted to do with it. So it's just been in my trunk, and then when I had to clean out my trunk, I had to put them up. But a few, when Bag O' Day used this same, she used these Ogos to make that shrug, and not shrug, that cocoon cardigan. So I was like, oh, perfect. And this color, which is Raspberry Frost, I think. What are you called? What is your name? Boo-ba-da-boo. What is your name? What is your name? I cannot find it anywhere. Because it's probably on the other. Yeah. Orchid Frost. It's on the other. I'm looking on this ball band. It's on this ball band. So this is called Orchid Frost. And it's the only one that I had 2 of. All the rest of them, I only grabbed 1 of. I don't remember if because they only had 1 or just because I only wanted 1 because I didn't really need. Maybe I didn't have any plan for it, so I just grabbed 1. I don't remember if that was the case, but this one I had 2 of, and you need 2. Because it like fades. I think if I recall, like the way you do it is it fades, and one, like it fades from light to dark, and then you kind of you start from here and it goes back out or something like that. So you need 2 of them. So I'm gonna make this. So that's just one I'm gonna do. So that should be my first few projects of the new year. I'm not gonna do anything else until I do these. And that's gonna clear up. So like these things are fine, whatever. Like I think they work in the way that they're intended to work, and that they keep your stuff from knotting, but they're just impossible to store efficiently. And so once I get rid of like all my Ogos, because I got these Ogos, I got these Ogos, and I got the regular Karen Ogos that I used for my in-laws blanket that I had a bunch of leftovers from. That's what I make hats with. Once I do all those, I feel like I should have so much more space. And so that's the plan. We're gonna do those. We're gonna make this. This, I have just this color. I had like 13, at least 13, maybe 15 of these. And I took out 6. I probably will not use 6. I don't know. I doubt this blanket will take 6, but it's so many. And so once I finish with the blanket, I will, if I haven't used up the whole 6, maybe I'll start another one, or I'll do something with the others, but we're gonna use those up because they're great. I love the way it feels. And so that is everything I got going. So how many whips is that? We got my son's blanket. We got, ow, my skinny cake blanket. 2. We got my shawl, my mom's shawl. 3. My sweater. 4. My cardigan. 5. And my dog beds. 6, or 6 and 7, however you want to count it. So that's what we got going on right now. What do you think? There's room for a couple more, right? I think so. We'll see. There's always hats. I'm always doing hats. So I haven't even done my Bod Hatapalooza hat for this week. But I will start that. And then there's always my just basic beanies for donation. Just to fill up my donation and use stuff up. So you can count that as, what is that, 7, 8, and 9? Who knows? That's what we got going on. So thank you guys for listening. That was an adventure of a story. Oh yeah, so no, one more thing to show you. All right, so the reason, okay, so I told you guys, I mentioned I was at Michael's the other day, and I saw the new cakes and stuff. So also, the other day, which was what, earlier this week, Monday or Tuesday, I was craving a caramel macchiato, as one does. And so the Starbucks, I don't have one really near me. I have one like 15, 20 minutes away in either direction. But the one that's easiest for me to get to is like one town over. And it's like right up the road from the shopping plaza. Like it's right up the road from both Michael's and Joanne. And so I went and got my coffee, and I was like, let me just pop in and Joanne, you know, say hi to her. I ain't seen her in a while. And I went down there, and I don't know why, I grabbed a cart for no reason. I grabbed a cart, and of course they're having sales. Like, I knew it was a Yarnorma sale. I don't know why I went in there. I knew it was a Yarnorma sale. But not only, but it's a good thing. So not only was the regular sale, but the clearance was 20% off. And I was just like kind of poking around. At first I did not see, I was poking around the clearance section, nothing new. Didn't want to, I didn't care about none of the stuff there. But then there's 2 rows of clearance. Only one of them usually has yarn. So I always go to the one that has yarn, but I passed by the other row as I was walking over there, and I saw a couple of these cute dog sweaters, and my dogs have never worn clothes before, but I was like, let me just go look at them. And I did get 2 dog sweaters, extra large. I haven't tried them on them yet. But I picked up these sweaters, put in my car, and I turned around and I saw, hang on, I think I got one in here. This, I don't think, it wasn't specifically this one, but if you guys remember, this is the cotton hand-dyed yarn that KNC did. And they clearanced them out a few months ago. I got like this blue one that I really liked. Was it the cotton one? Yeah, right? Or did I get the wool one? Now I gotta check. I feel like I got the cotton one if I recall. I had this pretty blue one, but I didn't, the other ones, like the sparkle one, I didn't really like. I think I didn't like the wool one. I only really liked the cotton one. All they had was the blue at the time, or at least all I saw. But I saw this and I was like, oh, these things are still here. That's so cool. And then I looked, they had a whole bunch of them. They had a ton of them. So I grabbed them all because they've probably been sitting there for months in that same row, because there's not usually yarn there, you know. I was like, let me just grab them. I'll do something with them. Like, you know, let me save them. That, like, as you see, like a couple of them were unraveled all the way. Not unraveled, but like unhanged all the way. This one and a few other ones, like the tag came off already. I was like, let me rescue these, because if they stay here much longer, they're just going to fall apart. So I grabbed all of them. And that's just what got me started. After that, the seal was broken and I was shopping. And so I got some other things that I found on clearance. But as I'm leaving, I saw this thing that I've never seen before. It's brand new. And it is the Karen Jumbo Twirls. Now, I love Karen Jumbo. I haven't actually used it in a couple of years, but I've done a few things with it. I made my son a blanket with it that I really like. They have the ombre one, which I feel like is like a little, at least the one I've used, is like a little bit thicker than the regular one. Like the variegated or whatever, like the regular one is, I feel like a little spongier, but it's a great feel and I really enjoyed working with it. And these are so pretty. They're like kind of flecked, right? Like one of the plies is like a different color that almost ombre is, like it doesn't stay. It's like a variegated almost. So this one's gold, and then the fleck is like a light. It's like a khaki and like a brown. It's just so pretty. So I grabbed it, and then I grabbed all of them. I was like, all of them, because like, okay, so I saw, you can't really see it that well, but even just like this blanket here, I think this is so pretty, and I think it would look great in this color. They had some other colors like this, also very earthy, like very natural colors. So like this, it's kind of a seafoam green, I can't remember what else they had. Like kind of, I think they had like a mauve-y kind of pink, and I don't remember what else they had. Maybe a light purple, but nothing bright. You know, very muted. But I grabbed them. I grabbed like 6 of them, actually. And I'm gonna make either this blanket because I really like it. It's hard to see, but it's like, there you go. I think you can see it really good in here. You see it's got like the little textured design. I'm gonna do something cool and textured with it. So that's gonna come soon because I didn't even have anywhere to put this. It's like under my desk right now, so I gotta use it soon. There's that. And then I was like, let me go to Michael's, and Michael's has clearance too. And I knew they had clearance. I still went, and I got like so much stuff. I filled up a cart there too. So I bought a ton, like undid all the good work I did by making those mystery boxes. And they're not even out of my garage yet. But it's like a lot of stuff that like and the same thing with what I got at Joann. It is stuff that I don't usually get. I wouldn't usually get. Outside of like, it's not just regular 4-weight acrylic, which is kind of like my goal. If I'm gonna go crazy, I'm gonna go crazy on stuff that I wouldn't go and get every week. So, and then like the stuff at Michael's was like, the most expensive thing I think was $3. So I spent like $172, but I'm gonna guess that I probably saved over half. So do the math there. And I spent like 70 something at Joann or something. I don't even remember. I was disgusted myself. I didn't listen to the numbers. But yeah, so I did that. And what was I gonna say? So Michael's, like, most of it is not stuff. Like I got a few cottons, like I think this one here. Like, you know, like I got cottons to make stuff, like just rags. I can't remember what else. I know I got a couple charismas, which I haven't bought in years, but I like charisma. I don't know what I'm gonna do with them. But there was a few like colors that I've been admiring for some time, but just never bought. So either I might give them away, but I might not, because it's just like I haven't done a lot of like chunkier projects in some time. Like at the beginning when I started knitting everything, I always bought chunky yarn because I just did. But now I haven't in some time, and so now I don't have like a lot of, nothing comes, like I don't have a lot of chunky projects like top of mind. So, oh man, this is getting long. So yeah, there's that. And I bought, I don't remember what else. It was a blur, but yeah, that's what happened. So I gotta stay away from the stores. Like I will definitely set myself some hard boundaries for this year. Anyway, thank you guys for listening. This has been quite the ramble. But that's what you should expect to see in the next few months. And then once we get through those, we'll tackle a few other things, or we'll come up with new stuff. But anyway, I'm happy to be getting some of this stuff. And this is all, you notice a lot of this is like bigger, like bulkier, like just space hoggers. So it'll be good to get some of this stuff out of the way too, to make room for more, or to make room for what I already got. Anyway, I will be talking to you guys soon. I really appreciate you listening, and I hope you guys have a great weekend, have a great day, and we will talk yarning again at some point. Bye-bye.